Let me ask you something that might sting a little. If you lost your social media, streaming shows, late-night snacks, and weekend hangouts, what would be left of your life 10 years from now? Be honest. For most people, the answer is not much. And that's the problem. We live for the moment but forget that life itself is the longest project we'll ever work on. Think about it. People plan a wedding for months, a vacation for half a year, yet spend 0 minutes planning the next decade of their lives. We panic when Wi-Fi drops for 10 minutes, but not when 10 years disappear doing nothing meaningful. Everyone wants results fast: abs in 6 weeks, wealth in 6 months, success overnight. But when it doesn't come instantly, they quit and complain it's too hard. When Jeff Bezos started Amazon, he wasn't chasing quick money, he was building something that would outlive him. Elon Musk poured his savings into rockets while people mocked him. A decade later, no one's laughing. Here's the truth: if you only think about the next 10 days, you'll always lose to the person thinking about the next 10 years. Because life rewards long-term vision, not short-term comfort. When you think big, every failure becomes a step forward instead of a dead end. So here's the first rule: stop asking, "What will I eat tonight?" and start asking, "What will I build in the next decade?" Time will pass anyway. The real question is, will you be in the same spot, or will people look at you and say, "How did this person change their life so completely?" Most people waste their 20s chasing shortcuts, their 30s fixing mistakes, their 40s regretting, and their 50s asking what if. The issue isn't that life is short, it's that our thinking is. When I asked my friends what they wanted for their future, they said, a car, a new phone, maybe a decent job. No one said, "I want to change an industry or build something that lasts." That's why so many spend 40 years stuck in traffic, blaming life for staying the same. Take Colonel Sanders. At 65, broke and nearly forgotten, he went door to door with a fried chicken recipe. Rejected more than 1,000 times, but he kept going. Today, his dream feeds millions. Imagine if he'd said, "Forget it, I'm too old." He thought in years, not weeks. Most people today give up after one rejection and cry that life's unfair. But life isn't unfair, it's just tough. And those who think long-term learn to turn rejection into motivation. Now let's talk patience. Some people say, "I tried for 3 months and nothing happened." Really? Even a baby takes 9 months just to be born. You can't microwave success, it's slow cooked. Apple didn't become Apple in a year. Nike didn't become Nike overnight. The greatest things take time, energy, and persistence. We overestimate what we can do in 1 year but underestimate what we can do in 10. You might not get rich in 12 months, but if you stay consistent for a decade, learning, building, failing, and adjusting, you can rewrite your family's future. Thinking long-term frees you from daily drama. If you only focus on today, every little thing feels huge. Someone gossips, you get angry. Your post gets no likes, you feel down. Your boss yells, you think it's the end. But when you think in decades, those moments shrink. Who cares about gossip today if, 10 years from now, those same people line up to shake your hand? The richest and most fulfilled people aren't superheroes, they just think further ahead. While others stress about next weekend's plans, they're designing a 10-year roadmap. That's the gap between average and extraordinary. So ask yourself, are you just sightseeing through life, or are you designing it like an architect? Because if you don't plan your future, life will plan it for you and you won't like the results. Most people aren't living, they're reacting. Wake up, work, scroll, sleep, repeat like a hamster on a wheel. Why? Because they never stop to ask, what do I want my life to look like in 10 years? Imagine getting into a taxi and telling the driver, just drive anywhere. You'd waste fuel and end up nowhere. That's how most people treat their lives, no direction, just movement. The moment you start thinking long-term, everything changes. You stop being a passenger and take the wheel. You say, yes, I'll struggle now. Yes, I'll sacrifice now, because I know exactly where I want to be. Everyone wants success, but few want the price tag. They want the mansion, not the missed parties. They want freedom, not discipline. They want respect, not rejection. But life doesn't work that way. Success costs what it costs. If you can't pay, you don't get it. Usain Bolt trained for over 10 years to run 9 seconds. That's the price of greatness. He didn't skip training because it was hard. He kept his eyes on the long game, and that's why his name still echoes today. Thinking 10 years ahead means saying no to distractions, yes to the grind. Your friends might laugh. They'll call you boring. They'll say, "Come on, live a little." But living for today at the expense of tomorrow ruins both. Warren Buffett once said, "Someone sits in the shade today because someone planted a tree long ago." Most people are sunburned because they never planted anything. When you talk about your 10-year plan, people might call you crazy. But when you succeed, they'll call you lucky. If everyone claps for your dream, it's too small. So here's my challenge. Take one evening. Sit down. Write where you want to be in 2035. Who will you be? What skills will you have? What kind of life will you live? Because a dream in your head is just air, but a dream on paper becomes a plan. 10 years from now, you'll either thank the person you are today or wish you'd tried harder. The choice is yours. The most dangerous word in the world? Later. I'll start later. I'll save later. I'll change later. But later turns into never. 10 years ago, you had dreams. Where are they now? Still collecting dust because you kept saying later. J.K. Rowling was broke and raising a baby alone when she wrote in coffee shops. Rejected again and again, but she didn't wait for the right time. Now her story is read around the world. That's the power of acting now and thinking ahead. Once you see your future clearly, you stop wasting your present. One book doesn't change your life, but 110 years will. One day of saving means nothing, but 10 years of saving means freedom. One workout doesn't transform you, but 10 years of consistency builds a new body and a new mind. Yes, long-term thinking can feel lonely. Your friends might party while you work. They'll laugh while you invest. But a decade later, they'll ask how you did it. Look at Steve Jobs. When he dreamed of a computer in every home, people called him insane. Now that vision defines modern life. Big dreams look ridiculous until they come true. So ask yourself, are you willing to look foolish today to look brilliant tomorrow? Are you ready to pay the price of discipline now instead of regret later? Because regret is the one bill you can never refund. Thinking ahead protects you from that pain. It builds a life you can look back on and whisper, "Thank God I didn't quit." Life doesn't reward people who think in minutes, it rewards those who think in decades. The longer your vision, the stronger your future. Success isn't about luck or talent, it's about perspective. Two people face the same storm, one quits, one grows. The difference is the timeline in their mind. Remember the bamboo tree. You water it for 5 years, nothing happens, then it shoots up 80 feet in 6 weeks. That's how growth works. Most people stop watering too soon. Winners keep going until the miracle happens. 10 years from now, what story will you tell? I almost did something great, or look what patience built. You'll fail, you'll doubt yourself, but if your vision is clear, nothing can stop you. Every rejection becomes training, every setback becomes fuel. The greatest achievers weren't born special, they just played the long game while others chased quick wins. And the long game always wins. So stop worrying about this week or this month. Ask yourself what kind of person you want to be in the next decade and start building that today. Every day is an investment. Every small step compounds. 10 years from now, you won't even recognize yourself. Time will pass whether you plan or not. But if you plan and act, you'll build something that lasts. In 10 years, people will either say, "Wow, how did they do it?" or "What happened to them?" The difference is vision. So stop asking what's for dinner. Start asking what kind of legacy you'll leave behind. Because when you think long-term, life gives you what short-term thinkers can't even imagine. 10 years from now, your future self is watching. Don't let them down.